Good morning and welcome to the Pondering Show here on WKUR 94.9, your country road. I'm your host, Doug Ponder, and I'm coming to you live from the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studio here in Miami, Florida. Nah, I'm just kidding. I pulled a Brian Williams. We're actually in Renfro Valley, not Miami, unfortunately. Poor old Brian Williams. For those of you who haven't heard, Brian Williams, the anchor for NBC Nightly News, is in a lot of hot water lately for telling some white lies about a lot of his news coverage. For example, Williams originally said a helicopter he was riding in during the Iraq War was shot by an RPG. That was a lie. When he was covering Hurricane Katrina, he said he could see a dead body floating by his hotel window in New Orleans. That was a lie. He said Kanye West interrupted him during his TV apology and told him that he needed to resign and turn over to the anchor's desk to Beyonce. Well, that was actually true. But anyway, Brian Williams apologized to the public last week on NBC Nightly News, but he never said he lied. He just said he just misremembered certain details about some of his stories. Yeah, I used to misremember a lot of stories too when I was younger and my parents were questioning me about stupid stuff I did. But even though Brian Williams didn't lie and only misremembered a few of his news reports, NBC announced earlier this week that they are suspending Williams for 6 months. The head honchos over there at NBC thought long and hard about it, and they figured that, 6 months was plenty of time for Americans to regain Williams' trust and forget about him misremembering his stories. I mean, just look at Bill Clinton, Britney Spears, Tiger Woods. They've all gone their own successful ways. I guess we'll have to see if old Brian's that lucky. Well, anyway, today is Valentine's Day, folks. The one time of the year where we have to do things out of love for the people we love. Anyway, we have a great program coming up for you, and we're going to break it down and talk about the psychology of love, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Pondering Show here on WKUR 94.9, your country road. We are joining you live here at the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studio here in Renfro Valley. Mm-hmm. Now, our guest this morning is no stranger to the Pondering Show, as he has been on the show before. He is an assistant psychology professor at Somerset Community College and a man full of wisdom. And Mr. Mark Isham, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming back.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back. I don't know if I'm full of wisdom. But
yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are. You taught me everything I knew about psychology in college.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if that says anything good about you, because I don't know much. But anyway,
yeah,
here we are.
Okay.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Which is a holiday that is associated with romantic love between two people. But the whole purpose of the holiday is debated, but everyone can pretty much agree that the holiday surrounds the topic of love. Love between two people, two significant others, and that's a big topic.
Sure.
So, for this Valentine's Day show of the Pondering Show, instead of talking about what we both think love means, which I don't know if that'd be a bore to the public out there, but anyway, we're going to talk about what love is from a psychological standpoint. So maybe we can all walk away from this show with a better understanding of what love is, how great that would be.
Yeah.
So, to start off, Mark, what is love? I mean, what is the actual definition of love in psychology?
Well, and yeah, you had asked me that earlier. What is the psychological definition of love? And so I may be a man full of wisdom, but I actually had to go and do a little research. And what I discovered is that love is very different to lots of very different people.
Yeah.
Of course, some of the things that love has in common across all the definitions is just an attraction to someone. Of course, if I'm attracted to a person, I'm more likely to be in love with them. But one of the things that I discovered that also seemed common across the definitions of love was it's not only an attraction to someone else, but it's me finding my own qualities that I like in other people.
Okay.
A lot of times people say opposites attract. Well, what psychology has discovered is that opposites do not attract. If I see my own qualities in you, I'm a lot more likely to fall in love with you.
That's exactly true. And that's proven statistically.
Yeah.
Right. So now there's all kinds of different theories of love, which is studied and
Right.
people's wrote stuff about. Now, what are those? I know that's a big question, but what are those?
There are a lot. And again, I don't know how much time we have and how much you want me to go through.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
I
it's about love, right?
Took
We got
notes.
all the time. Yeah.
Took notes and notes. And a minute ago when I was saying that one of the things about love, one of the commonalities about love is that I find myself in the person that I'm in love with. I started with Sigmund Freud. A lot of people know Sigmund Freud, the granddaddy of psychology, and Sigmund Freud says that love is an ego ideal. I admire someone as a child. Freud would probably say it's my mother or my father, and I admire this person. And so I look for those qualities in someone else while at the same time trying to find qualities of myself in another person. So I grow up, I find a girlfriend, I find a wife, and I say, oh, this woman reminds me of my mother, this woman reminds me of my father, but she also reminds me a lot of me. And that's Sigmund Freud's ego ideal. You wanted me to talk about Sternberg's triangular theory of love. Sternberg's got a theory of love that love consists of three qualities. Robert Sternberg says that love is intimacy, and passion and commitment. And that if we have one or two of those, we have different types of love. All three of them, Sternberg calls consummate love, and it's just the Goldilocks of love. It's just right.
It's the final stage.
It's the final stage. But he says that we can have various other forms of love, and I don't know, there are 7. I don't know if you want me to go through all 7, but for instance, again, the three qualities of love: intimacy, passion, and commitment. If I just have intimacy, and I always tell people that in this case, intimacy simply means I just know a lot about you. Not that we're necessarily intimate, as people might say, but I have a lot of information. I know your middle name. I know your favorite food. I know what makes you scared. I know what makes you happy. So we have an intimate friendship, and Sternberg would call that simply liking. I like you. I have an intimacy. Infatuation, we hear people talk about just, I'm infatuated. Can't get you out of my mind. That would be passion only, according to Sternberg. If I have commitment for you and I'm in it for the long haul, but I really don't have the passion, we really don't have the intimacy, but I'm in it for whatever reason, that's empty love.
Makes sense, yeah.
If I have, and sometimes people will ask, what's empty? How can I have a commitment and nothing else? You don't see this too much around here, but maybe it's an arranged marriage. Maybe
that's right.
My father and your father decided that for whatever reason I'm going to arrange the marriage. So there's a commitment, but I don't know you that well. Maybe I really don't like you that much, but there's the commitment. So it's empty love. Intimacy and passion together. There, I've got the intimacy. I know a lot about you. I've got the passion. I've got the fire, and that's romantic love. But there's no commitment because we haven't known each other long enough. I've met you. We've been dating for 2, 3, 4 weeks, a couple of months, and boy, we're just really all about it.
So that's the beginning stage of dating.
That would be the beginning stage of dating. Sure. And then the intimacy and the commitment, but no passion. And I always, bless their hearts, I just think of older couples that have been married for 30, 40, 50 years. And we're intimate because we know so much about each other. We've got the commitment because we're together, but the flame has gone dim. There's really not a lot of passion. That's companionate love. And then if I have passion and commitment but no intimacy, maybe it's a big, quick whirlwind romance. I don't know much about you, but golly, we're just really in this together. That's called fatuous love, according to Sternberg. And then again, all three together, that's consummate love, according to Robert Sternberg.
Wow. And now, what's the percentage that actually reaches that last one?
My gosh.
Is there even anybody that reaches
I don't know.
that?
I will say, and I could just make something up. Well, 57%. No, I'm not going to make something up. The quick and most honest answer is I don't know. But, just from my experience, I was a counselor for 18 years. Of course, I've got friends. I know people. I'd say that there's a pretty significant percentage. And again, I'm just making this up. I don't know. But maybe 25, maybe 30% of people that really get into that and stick with it. As a counselor, I would see couples, and you would think that couples would come in crisis, and a lot of times they would, but I was always gratified. I was always pleased to see couples that would come in and would have the real genuine love for one another. We just hit a bump in the road, and we want to talk about it.
That's the other side of it. A lot of people don't think about. That's neat. So based off of all those things you just described, is it safe to say, based off those theories of love, does love always include trust, honesty, commitment? You just described all those things, and it seems like those different ones, some did and some didn't. Is that kind of how it works?
See, and again, I was thinking about that, and I would have to say, and I'm not a big fan of the answer if somebody asks a question, and I have to say, well, sometimes, maybe not, because that doesn't really answer your question. But in this particular case, I would say, at least according to Sternberg and his triangular theory, you don't necessarily have to have trust. You don't have to have commitment. You don't have to have any of these to say, I love you, and to experience that love. Again, as a counselor, I had couples in my office who really didn't trust each other and
yeah.
really had reason not to trust each other. But by gosh, they would come in and they were in love, and I could see that.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So that pretty much describes that love. I guess you could say love is a feeling. Is that the way to say that? Or is that just kind of a gray area too?
That might be a gray area. Love is
Yeah.
a feeling, and you say that. And again, I'm quoting all these big psychologists, big names. Eric Fromm,
Yeah.
who says that love is, and that is a quote. Eric Fromm says love is a feeling, but Eric Fromm then goes on to say that more important than the feeling that I might have are the things that I'm willing to do for you, or the things that you're willing to do for me. I think about, my children. I've got an 18-year-old daughter, a 16-year-old son, and I love them. And when you're a parent, there are a lot of things that you're willing to do for your children that you might not do for yourself or for other people.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
there's that love. Friends of mine, just people that I know that I'm very, very involved with, I will do things for them. And there might be a feeling involved, but there's the action. Of course, my wife, there's a strong feeling of love, but there are the actions, the things. You get up
Yeah.
early in the morning, you go to bed late at night, you go and do things. Maybe she's sick, maybe she's busy. So Eric Fromm would say that there is the feeling, but more importantly, there are the actions that back
Yeah,
that up.
love's the action too.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people argue as well. So it's kind of a both. People kind of throw
I
that
guess
around,
so.
don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of depends on who you are, which we'll get
Yeah.
into that here in a little bit. So to go on real quick, now what are some of the criticisms or things that people say about these certain theories that aren't right, or that they'll argue amongst each other?
Any psychological theory is going to have criticisms, no matter what it is. It's a theory of development. It's a theory of motivation. It's a theory of whatever. In any psychological theory, there's going to be somebody that's going to come along and say, well, that's not quite right. So I tried to read up some criticisms of the various theories. Sternberg with his triangular theory of love. One of the criticisms apparently from that is that, the big statement, everybody's different, and you can't just lump everybody into this one group and say, these people have consummate love, these people have empty love, these people have whatever, that apparently Sternberg in his research didn't apparently research enough different couples.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Studies of Sigmund Freud and his theory of love. One of the big criticisms of Freud that I hear over and over, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard it a lot of times, is that apparently Sigmund Freud didn't study anybody. He just sat around and came up with these ideas. So there's a criticism for you.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah.
I guess if there are any criticisms about the various theories of love, and John Lee, which I haven't talked about yet, but I might get around to because I like John Lee's theory, or Abraham Maslow. If there's any criticism of any of these theories, the criticism is everybody's different. And if I look at Doug Ponder, or if I look at Mark Isham, or if I look at whoever, and I say, okay, this person's going to fall in love because X, Y, and Z has happened, the criticism is, you don't know that because you're not that person.
That's right. The only person that knows a person is the person themselves.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I guess. Not even the person that loves the person don't know each other.
Great point.
That's another issue as well. We'll talk about that too.
Okay.
So is there one certain theory that psychologists kind of hold up as, hey, this is the theory that kind of is a little bit above the rest that we'll use, or are they all just kind of on the same level?
I think, and again, this is something that I tell my classes, not necessarily about love, but about psychology in general. When I began studying psychology, I had this idea that I was going to study psychology, and that was going to be an open and shut case. Well, it turns out there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of different theories of psychology, and this one psychologist disagrees with this other psychologist just over different little details.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the theory of love, you'll have people that are in the Sternberg camp, people that are in the Eric Fromm camp, and so I don't think that if you found 2 psychologists or 3 psychologists, I don't think that any of them would agree that this is love. Again, it goes back to the feelings of commitment. That's probably a strong indication of love, a strong feeling. The willingness, the selflessness, willingness to give of myself. But again, you'll find people that will criticize that and say, no, that's not exactly love. So again, I guess it depends on who you're talking to and who you're talking about.
And it also depends, how about the public? Does the public look at these theories in a different view, or has there been any polls like with that? Like if they say, hey, maybe this theory's above this one. I'm just curious about that. I don't know if anybody's ever thought about that before.
The quick answer is I don't know. I'm embarrassed because I keep answering your questions with I don't know. I just don't know.
That's love. Does anybody know?
Oh my goodness, that's love. No, when you talk about what does the public think? I think, and again, I go back to my experience as a counselor, and I've been teaching for a lot of years, and students will talk to me. I think there's a lot of the whole attraction sort of thing. And how can you define attraction? Here I am, a grown man. I might see somebody and for whatever reason find that person attractive. Maybe it's the way they look. Maybe it's the way they talk. Maybe we have a lot of things in common. But the idea of attraction and the idea that there's something about you. And then again, I go back to what some of these people have said that, I see myself in you. So when we're talking about what does the public say, when the public talks about love, I think probably the big number one quality would be just simply that attraction. I'm probably not going to be in love with you if I don't somehow find you attractive, either physically, emotionally,
on an emotional level,
that sort of thing. I need to find an attraction.
That's right. Okay, there has to be something that draws them to that person, something of some type, pretty much. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about how all these theories, all this stuff we talked about applies to each person individually, which we've already touched on, but we're going to really dig deep into this. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Pondering Show here on WKUR 94.9, your country road. We are joined in the Don Franklin Chevy Buick GMC studio with Assistant Psychology Professor Mark Isham. Now, we've talked about the different theories and the types of love, and we've also talked about their criticisms and the differences and all that good stuff. Now, we're going to talk about what everyone wants to hear, which is how all these theories applies to them, themselves, and their lives. So, is it safe to say, and we done talked about this, but is love different for each person based off each person's personality, wants, needs, whatever?
The answer is yes. There are, and I've been throwing names right and left, and I don't remember the name of the person that came up with this, but there are different ways that we express love. And again, you might express love differently than the way I express love. We express love through performing actions. Maybe I want to express love and maybe that's my style of expressing love. When I fall in love, I decide that love means performing actions. I'm going to wash the dishes for you. I'm going to fold the laundry for you. I'm going to do the shopping for you. Other people consider expressing love through compliments. You look great today. That was a great thing that you did for me. I really appreciate that. Verbal compliments. Some people express love through spending time together. I want to be with you. It doesn't matter. We could just be sitting watching TV, and that's how I express love. One of the things is if I express love one way and my partner expresses love a different way, then basically we're speaking different languages. If I speak English and my partner speaks German and I don't understand German and she doesn't understand English, we're going to have a lot of miscommunication.
Yeah.
So if my way of expressing love is by performing actions, I'll do the laundry, I'll do the shopping, and her way of love is by spending time, let's just sit and watch TV. Let's go for a drive together. Then a lot of times we might not understand each other. I don't know why you're doing this. I'm trying to express my love for you, but you're just not getting it. Well, I'm trying to express my love. So that's one way that people can sync up. Mm-hmm. Even if my way of expressing love isn't just by spending time, I don't get that, I don't understand that. Maybe I need to understand that's your way of expressing love, and we'll do it together now. And so I'm doing something with you, and we're experiencing that love.
That's right. And just out of curiosity, is that something you would see a lot? Like when people would come in, like
yes.
they would have conflicts with each other, and they'd say, I just don't think so-and-so loves me.
Yep, I don't think my wife loves me. And she's doing A, B, and C, but that's not the way that I see love. And as a third party, it was always very interesting, very fascinating to have couples come in, and the husband would say, I do blah, 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 and she just doesn't appreciate it. And then the woman would say, well, I do blah, 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 and he doesn't appreciate it. And I'd have to sit back and say, well, hold up, folks. You're both doing things for each other. Yeah. Maybe you're just not doing what you're expecting for the other person.
That's right. Yeah. And it's a start that at least they're both doing things for each other. Some people aren't even doing that, so that's a start at least.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you can look at it that way. Now, I've heard this all the time, and I got to bring this up.
Okay.
At weddings and all that good mushy stuff, all you need is love. Have you heard that saying? And
yes.
Is that true for everybody too?
Oh my gosh. Probably not. I think you need a lot more than love. Love is good. And, a couple of seconds ago when I was reading off these various theories and I said Abraham Maslow, and you kind of perked up. Yeah, Maslow.
Yeah.
Maslow has got a hierarchy of our needs.
That's right. And what are those real quick? Yeah.
I was just about to say, according to Maslow, we need certain things in life literally to live, to survive. And the very first thing we need is air, food, water, and we need those things. And actually, according to Maslow, we don't need love until we've got our basic needs met: air, water, food, and then we have safety needs. I just need to feel safe. I need to know that I'm not going to be harmed by wild animals. I need to know that I'm not going to be harmed by nature. I'm not going to be harmed by whatever. Then we get to love. That's number 3.
Wow.
So yeah, and then after that, by the way, is we want respect after love. And then what Maslow calls self-actualization,
That's
just
right.
a feeling of complete wholeness and satisfaction with our lives and the way we're living. So no, according to Maslow, love doesn't come until number 3 out of a list of 5. No, and this is just, from a personal standpoint, I think there are a lot of other things. Love is a very good thing. I used to have a coworker, another psychologist, and he and I would have friendly debates about love. And his number 1 statement was, we need to be with other people. That's a basic human need. We need to be with other people. And I'd always play devil's advocate and say, we don't need to be with other people. I could be just fine by myself doing my own thing. But, I think that... I think love is a good thing. I think companionship is a very good thing, and it makes what we've got nicer. But I think we need a lot of other things besides love.
That's right. And like Maslow just explained,
Right.
that shoots the whole living off love theory
really?
song out the door,
Yes.
pretty much, yeah. So from a psychology standpoint as well,
right.
the love at first sight. Now, how about that? Is that true necessarily for some people?
If you'd have asked me that 2 days ago, I would have said, no, that's not true. There's no such thing as love at first sight. But again, I did a little research. I did a little reading up, and I determined that apparently, psychologically speaking, there is such a thing as love at first sight. A lot of us have heard... you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and how important first impressions are if you're going for a job interview, if you're the first day of school or whatever like that. And apparently that goes for love as well. And if I make a really, really great first impression, there's one theory that says that just the first few minutes of being with someone, a blind date, meeting someone somewhere, just the first 5 or 10 minutes of being with that person, experiencing that person, will determine the success of the rest of the relationship together. And that attractiveness, I meet someone, apparently, according to psychologists, I will decide if I find that person attractive or not within the first 0.13 seconds.
Jeez, talk about a time window, guys.
Less than a quarter of a second, and I've determined if I find you attractive or not.
Wow.
Yep.
And now, there's also studies, too. Don't we all, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but we all have, natural sense, too. And we somehow attract each other based off that. I've heard some study about that.
Now, that may be true, and what you're saying, that doesn't really ring a bell in my head, but it does put me in the mind of that we do, again, like I was saying earlier, we look for people that we're similar to.
Yeah.
I might find somebody attractive, and we've all heard the phrase, that person's out of my league. That person is that person is above me, or maybe that person is below me. We do tend to look for people that are very similar to us, similar in looks, similar in the way we dress, similar body types. We look for that. And there's also a psychological theory that says when I meet you, again, whether I'm romantically attracted to you or you're just another person that I think, this person is friendly, I want to hang out with this person.
Yeah.
There's a theory that says that when I first get to know you, in my mind, I believe that you share the same likes and dislikes and values that I do. So maybe I have certain religious beliefs, certain political beliefs, and I meet you and I'm attracted to you, again, whether you're a romantic attraction or just somebody I want to hang out with. And I've got the idea in my head, oh, gee, I really like Doug Ponder. He probably likes exactly the same things that I like. And then eventually we get to know the person and realize that we do have some differences.
Just goes down. No. Yeah, that's right. So it's like it's up on this level, some people think, and it just kind of, because everybody's different. Everybody's different. And it is slowly, okay. Because I read that somewhere. And
that may be true.
There was some argument, and whoever was writing this, it was some psychologist, of course, like you said, that they all agree and disagree. And they claim that when you put cologne on, perfume perfume on that you're masking your natural scent. But anyway, that was an interesting concept. I don't know.
Sure.
It's probably a good idea for some people to mask it. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
So here's a golden question.
Okay, what's the golden question?
Can people fall in love and fall out of love? Is that only true for certain people or certain types of love that we explained in the theories?
Well, I mean, I think, of course, I think people can fall in love.
Yeah.
I think that, that happens. It's happening right now. Somebody out there is falling in love with someone right now as we speak. And, you had asked me earlier, can people fall out of love? And that's a sticky question. Again, I hail back to the days when I was working in counseling, and we were in a meeting. It was me and several of my coworkers, all counselors, in a meeting. And honestly, I don't remember the context. I don't remember what was going on. But we were talking about a married couple that one of us had been counseling, and it was a touch-and-go situation. And one of my colleagues, and this is very casual, very informal, one of my colleagues made the comment, once you fall out of love, you never get that back again. Once it's gone, it's gone. And that was a really casual comment, and I don't know if that's true. I like to believe that, if you've got the love, if you've got the commonality, we have things in common, we have similar likes, we have similar agendas. This is what you want out of life. This is what I want out of life. We might hit some bumps in the road. We might have times where, good heavens, I hate that other person. But I think if we actually do have those common bonds, and we do have those common agendas, and we do have those common goals, that we probably can keep the love. We probably can, as you'd say, fall back in love.
Okay.
And one last really quick thing, I said it out loud, and it prompted a thought in my head. One of the most important things in love, again, and this is psychologically speaking, a common goal. If I have a certain goal, whatever that goal might be. My goal is to save a lot of money. My goal is to do a lot of traveling. My goal is to raise great kids that will contribute to the world. If my partner and I have common goals, we're both working toward the same thing, then that's going to be a lot stronger glue to hold that relationship together.
Most definitely. That's true. And, okay, so, and then this too, and we kind of touched on this.
Okay.
So, when you talk about the theories of love, as far as relationships and marriages, can those two things only happen in certain theories? Or can relationships only happen in one and marriages only happen in one?
No, I think... go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How does that... Or can they happen in all of them?
I think they can happen in all of them.
Okay.
From what I've read, and I always think back to a professor that I had in college who would talk about, you can't just give your opinion. You need to support it. You need to back it up. So I'm always trying to back it up. I can give my opinion all day long, but... everything that I've read about love, and I'm certainly not an expert in love, but as far as psychology goes, all the theories, all the concepts that I've read, you can have a relationship, you can have a marriage with any of them. Heck, going back again to Sternberg and empty love, you can have a marriage with empty love. What empty love was, I think, and I got to go back to my notes because I don't remember. I think it was commitment only, empty love. Sure, I can have a commitment to a person, and maybe I don't have a passion for that person. Maybe I don't have intimacy with that person, but I can have a long-term commitment, and it might not be what you or I call love, but those two people are going to call it love,
That's right, yeah. And that could be for anybody. And see, now, here's what I was always taught, or what I shouldn't say taught, because whoever taught me this would be flogging me right now.
Oh, no.
Or what I always learned or thought myself.
Believe.
But I remember when I was sitting in your psychology class one time, and we went over this.
All
and
right,
we talked about the romantic love.
Okay.
That's the dating phase.
Yeah,
and to me... I'd always heard from all my advisors and people that's taught me all the stuff I know in life, I guess, my mentors, that you don't even consider getting engaged or marrying somebody until after the first year. Because the first year, everybody's kind of just, well, I wouldn't want to say faking it, but, it's nobody's really being themselves yet. You don't truly learn that person until after the first year. That's what I've always kind of. But now, how about? So, is that the romantic? Should people get married in the romantic love stage? That's an iffy question.
Oh, should people? I'm not going to tell people what they should.
Well,
do.
No, I shouldn't have said it that way. Oops.
The thing about the first year, and I believe that also.
Yeah.
The thing about the first year is you're going to see that person in just about every situation in a year. In a year, you're going to find out how they celebrate holidays. I always think of the movie Four Christmases. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, yes.
But
yes.
Okay, all right. Where Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon have to spend Christmas with Vince Vaughn's mother and Vince Vaughn's father. and Reese Witherspoon's mother and Reese Witherspoon's father. So they have 4 Christmases and all the different things. So how do you spend Christmas? And it would be really good to know, do you spend it by yourself? Do you spend it with your family? Do you, what do you do? How do you celebrate Valentine's Day? How do you tolerate cold weather? What do you want to do during the summer? So yeah, if you're with the person for the full year, then you see the ins and outs and ups and downs and the goods and the bads. So I think that's a good probably rule of thumb there. Yeah.
Yeah, just for some people. Now, and there's always exceptions.
Yeah, of course.
That shouldn't be. I said that wrong. Like you should do. Thou shall do that. No, yeah. I mean, because there's exceptions. There's people that met the first week, married the next week, and they've been together 50 years.
Yep.
I mean, but then there's some it's not. It's just all across the board.
Yep.
It's different for everybody, like we've said, pretty much. And
yep.
So, is it true that someone may not know what kind of love they want in their life with a significant other?
Yes. I can definitely answer that with a resounding yes. I may not know what sort of love I want. And there's what I was saying a couple of minutes ago about the different styles of love. And maybe I express love a certain way, but maybe I don't know that. And if I expect, and again, I might not know that I'm expecting this. I was raised this way. I was raised by parents who would do things for me. They were service parents. They would do my laundry. They would cook my food. They would do all these things, and that was their way of showing love for me. And so I grow up thinking that's how it's done. And I marry a woman that I'm attracted to this woman, but her way of showing love is by spending time, maybe not by performing services. And I don't know that. I don't get that. And so she's trying to spend time with me, but she's not cooking. She's not doing the laundry, whatever that I'm hoping for, I'm expecting. And I get in my head, she doesn't love me. So yeah, it's very, very possible that I am unconsciously expecting a certain type of love. It's not being given to me, and so I feel like I'm not being loved, and I am. I've got this great relationship. I just don't know it. Yeah.
So that's true. So people could find what kind of love they want with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's kind of a trial and error thing. It's nothing that people know exactly, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could say it that way. And, well, is there actually – this is kind of a weird question, but is there certain tests or tips out there floating around, God bless the Internet, that people can help with this?
Do you know – and this is funny. This is not official. This isn't an official answer. Mm-hmm. But I once read that the best way – to test your relationship is to play Monopoly with the other person.
Boy, is that the truth. Yeah,
find out how they play. Are they, how do they go about buying and selling and trading and stuff like that? Is there a test? I don't know. I'm going to go back to what I said a couple of minutes ago about the common goals. If my partner and I sit down and have an honest discussion about money. How do you want to save money? How do you want to spend money? That's a big one. Mm-hmm. If we talk about kids, do you want kids? How many kids do you want? And if it's an honest discussion, and you were saying earlier about people who are putting on their best face, and so I have made it clear that I want kids, and my partner doesn't want kids. But I talk to her and I say, "Won't it be great when we have kids?" And she'll say, "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that." Yeah. The three things, the three things that cause the most divorces. Difference in attitudes toward money. That's the number one.
Yeah.
Difference in attitudes toward children, whether or not to have children, how to raise the children, and difference in attitude toward physical show of affection.
Yeah.
Those are the three biggest problems when it comes to having a divorce, to filing for divorce. So yeah, if the two people sit down and honestly, genuinely, sincerely talk about their plans for the future, talk about their goals, this is what I want to do. Gee, I want to do a lot of traveling. Well, no, I don't like to travel. I don't like to fly. I don't like to be too far away from home. Those are the sorts of, if you want to call them, tests for a relationship.
And that's a great way. Just throw it out there, people. Just get it out of the way. And if it's not right, is it better just to end it before it gets deep?
Wow.
Boy, I'm asking you some great questions.
Well,
for the people listening out here.
And again, is it better to end it? There's a part of me that when you asked that, there was a part of me that wanted to say yes, it's better to end it right then and there. But what might be better to end it is to just work out the differences. And again, if those differences, and I think right now actually of a friend that I had years ago, ages ago, a friend that I had who was going to get married, was excited. Weeks, months planning for the wedding, and to be perfectly honest, I don't remember what it was, but something came up a few days before the wedding, and the two of them very amicably realized this is a huge difference and we can't do this. So they called the wedding off. They did not have the wedding that they had been planning for weeks or for months because there was some difference. And again, I don't remember, but I want to say it was about children. Is somehow they
one
decided
of the big three, probably.
One of them, one of them wanted children, the other one didn't, and they realized that. Oh my gosh, you and I are talking two different things when it comes to kids.
It kind of reminds me of Jesse and Rebecca on the Full House episode when they're in Las Vegas and they get married.
Right.
You know, they start talking about children and their futures, and they just leave because it's all different, and they just go ahead and leave. You know, they didn't discuss that before. And you know, another big issue, I guess, as well. A lot of people, you know, we're all in different stages of life. That's another big, you know, I don't know, a thing that's thrown into this as well, right? If we're in different stages or, I'm trying to think. I've lost my train of thought.
Different levels of maturity.
Yeah, that's true as
different
well.
goals.
Yes.
I mean, a person might be 20 years old, and you could have a 20-year-old who's still living with their parents, and not there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying still living with their parents and haven't quite decided what they're going to do with their lives yet. And there might be another 20-year-old who's already moved out of their parents' house and has a job that they're working toward a career. And so, those two people. And I'm not going to, and it goes back to what we keep saying over and over again, that everybody's different. Everybody's different. Maybe those two people will get along very well, but maybe, the two people, one will be a lot more independent and will get frustrated, or the other will be a lot more, whatever. So any of those things where, I'm at a different stage of development. I'm at a different point in my maturity. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here it is, the last question that we got right here.
All right.
Well, and you can also add some other things too. But is love the same for everyone, or is love in the eye of the beholder, as we all hear all the time?
Love is definitely in the eye of the beholder, and the eye of the beholder changes over years. The way that I looked at love when I was 30 is different from the way I look at love right now.
That's true.
And it does change. It can change, and it's definitely in the eye of the beholder. It's all about perception. I am going through my life perceiving things. I see things, I hear things, I taste things, I touch things, and my perception of those things is going to be very different. Here on a cold day like today, I love the cold. I can walk around without a coat, and I like this.
Amen.
And earlier, you were talking about being in Miami. There are some people who hate the cold. So it's all about perception. I love cold. Some people hate cold. Some people love Miami. I'm not going to say I hate Miami. I've been to Miami, and I like it, but there might be, certain things that I hate. So love, attraction, affection is all definitely in the eye of the beholder. I think that woman is beautiful, and you look at her and say, how do you think she's beautiful? That sort of thing.
Is there anything else you want to add? It's been a great show.
Anything else? No. I came in with a list of notes. I never did get to the styles of love. I said but we probably don't have time there.
Well,
I think
we
six
do.
styles. Do we have? Okay.
Yeah.
I like these. I learned these in one of my psychology class, and I'm just telling you this because I think they're neat. This guy John Lee, he calls them the love styles, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the different ways that people will be in a relationship with one another. There's the eros, E-R-O-S, eros love, and that's the passion and excitement. That's the romance that you were talking about, the early part of the relationship. There's Ludus, I think it's L-U-D-U-S, Ludus love, and that's where I'm trying to win someone's love. And as I was reading about Ludus love, I was thinking of the song Blank Space, Taylor Swift. Got a long list of ex-lovers. They'll all say I'm insane. That's Ludus love. I'm trying to win that partner. It's the thrill of the chase.
Yep.
There's Storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, Storge love, which is my personal favorite, seriously. It's the love that grows from friendship. We meet, we get along, and over years and years and years, and I guess, and I'm not trying to make a whole Taylor Swift day, but that would be the one about you're on the phone, and that song where
what is that one?
Josh,
come on.
You belong with me. That's the name. You belong with me. And that would be Storge love. The love, it just grows from we're friends, and then we suddenly discover that we're in love with each other. There's pragma love, which is very businesslike, and I think of Sheldon and Amy Farrah Fowler.
Exactly.
Here's the relationship contract. There's manic love, where it's very possessive and jealous, and I've got to have you with me, and don't look at another woman.
Oh, buddy.
All that type of stuff. And then there's the agape love, which is the very selfless love. I love you, and I am willing, literally, to lay down my life if I have to, because I love you that much. And those are John Lee's love styles. I think they're kind of cool.
That's amazing. Well, it sounds like Taylor Swift's learned that and wrote her songs
Taylor
about
Swift
that or
writing
something.
the love styles, yeah.
There's more to her songs than what we really realize, maybe. You ought to play more of that, Josh.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to once again thank you for coming in, Marcus. It's been a great show, and maybe we can all come out of this Valentine's Day understanding love more and going to seek whatever love we're going out to seek better, whatever floats your boat better. And I want to thank you for listening to the Pondering Show, and have a great week.